Hello and welcome to the Red Bank Library. Today we're highlighting our featured author, Jacqueline Woodson, who writes primarily for young adult and teens and has crossed over to write adult fiction as well. We're highlighting great authors and especially this month recognizing our authors of color. Jacqueline Woodson, at the time of this book, was a 3-time Newbery Honor winner, a 2-time National Book Award finalist, winner of the Coretta Scott King Award and 3 Coretta Scott King honors, and the recipient of the Margaret A. Edwards Award for her contributions to young adult literature. Today, I'm going to read an excerpt of a book called The House You Pass on the Way, and knowing more about the character known as Trout. Staggerly stared at the picture a moment. Ida Mae was short and round. She was waving the camera the way Mama did sometimes when she had enough picture taking. But Jonathan was holding her by the shoulder playfully, as though he was making her stand still for one more. He was handsome, younger than Staggerly had expected him to be. "They're good looking," Staggerly said finally, handing the picture back. Trout nodded. "I know, and I know I don't look like them either." "You're good looking," Staggerly said quickly. Trout smiled and winked at her. Something about the wink made Staggerly's stomach flutter. They were driving through Calmuth. The land stretched out green and gold in the sun. Trout leaned back against the cab. "It's pretty here." "Baltimore pretty?" Trout sat up. "You know why Ida is sending me here?" Staggerly frowned. "You want to come." "Is that what she said in her letters?" "Yeah. Didn't you want to come? To meet us?" Trout leaned back again, looking relieved and pent up at the same time. "It's bigger than that," she sighed. Trout looked at her a moment as though she was trying to figure out if Staggerly would understand something. Then she shook her head. "Bigger than what?" Staggerly asked. "Nothing," Trout said. Staggerly took her harmonica out of her back pocket and started blowing it. The music surrounded them. She felt scared suddenly that Trout had brought something deep with her, something that concerned both of them. Trout made her feel small and shaky, and her lips were scary, the way they curved into a smile. Staggerly started playing Moonlight in Vermont. Over and over, she had watched the film clip of her grandmother singing it with Ella Fitzgerald. Their voices together were beautiful. Later in the song, a man came out and started playing the trumpet. Staggerly played that part now. She felt herself disappearing inside the music. "Moonlight in Vermont," Trout began to sing. Staggerly frowned, unsure whether or not she had heard right. She had never heard anyone but her grandmother and Ella sing the song, and now here was Trout. She began to play more softly. Trout smiled and continued singing, her voice sweet and low. She sang with her eyes closed, her head thrown back. Staggerly stared at her mouth the way it moved to form the words. She felt her throat closing up, felt tears beginning to form behind her eyes. She stopped playing suddenly and stared down at her harmonica. "Why do you stop?" "How do you know that song?" Trout frowned. "The same way you do, silly. Grandma sang it. We have it on video." They had the same grandmother, Georgia Cannon. Somehow that seemed strange to Staggerly that this Trout shared her grandmother. "We have it on video too," Staggerly said. Trout stared at the passing road, smiling. "I like when she and Ella used to do that little step," she said, moving her shoulders. And then, "Ooh, ooh." I love that. Staggerly smiled. She loved that part too. "You've ever been there? To Vermont?" Trout shook her head. "I dreamed it though, when I was real little. I used to have all these ideas about what it was like. The way Grandma sings it, the part about the falling leaves and the sycamores. And the snow lights," Staggerly said softly. "Sometimes I sit in my window and imagine what it's like, snow light and ski trails." All her life, she felt like she was the only one who dreamed about places, the only one who watched those film clips and imagined herself in the places they sang about. And now, here was a girl sitting close enough to touch, talking about the same things. And if you want to know more about Trout and Staggerly, I suggest borrowing this Jacqueline Woodson book from your local public library and reading some of the other works that she has written. We're hoping to bring you even more stories from our Black authors in our library soon. Please stay tuned. Take care.